Hi, everyone. Today, I have the privilege of speaking with Allie, a woman whose journey to motherhood is nothing short of extraordinary. After the heartbreaking loss of her husband, Allie faced unimaginable grief while still holding on to her dream of becoming a mother. Through surrogacy, she found a path forward. While unexpected, it was a journey filled with profound moments of joy. From navigating the egg retrieval process to finding the perfect match, and finally to the life-changing moment her baby boy Tommy was born, Allie's story is a testament to love's ability to endure, transform, and create new beginnings. This conversation is one of strength, healing, lots of giggles, and the beauty of never giving up on your dreams. I can't wait for you to hear Allie's incredible story. Enjoy! This episode of Me, You, and Who is brought to you by Childs and Warren Law Group. If you're building your family through third-party assisted reproduction, be it surrogacy, egg, sperm, or embryo donation, you already know how important it is to have the right team supporting you every step of the way. That includes having an experienced legal team who understands assisted reproduction. Childs and Warren Law Group is a law practice solely dedicated to assisted reproductive technology. They've helped thousands of intended parents, surrogates, and donors navigate the legal side of family building with compassion, clarity, and care. Whether you're entering a donation agreement, a surrogacy agreement, or finalizing parentage in Texas, Childs and Warren Law Group brings years of experience and a deep commitment to protecting all parties involved. You can learn more or schedule a consultation at childswarrenlawgroup.com. And if you reach out, let them know you heard about them here on the Me, You, and Who podcast. Me, you, and who? Who knew it would take more than two people to have a baby? In a world where infertility is no longer a taboo topic, this podcast will take you through all of the different aspects of surrogacy and egg donation through the lens of many who walk this journey in different ways. My name is Whitney Hall, and I am a two-time surrogate, now turned surrogacy coordinator for Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions, the very agency I used when I chose to carry for two amazing families. With this podcast, it is our goal to help guide and support you as you learn about what it takes to grow a family in an alternative way, as well as hear inspiring and beautiful stories of how this path has changed lives forever. We can't wait for you to hear about just one more way happy families are created every day. But we are here to talk about you, my Allie girl. Oh my goodness. I have to say, I mean, obviously on like a personal level, this just makes me so excited since you and I have known each other since we were tots. I feel maybe not tots. We were at least, like children of driving age. But even then, like I love, it just makes me so excited that I get to have this moment with a friend.
It's so special.
It is.
I can't believe we're here.
I can't believe we're here. I really cannot believe we're here. Just with everything in life, right? I just can't believe we're here. It's just always so exciting. So that everybody can just be brought into the amazing you that you are. Let's go back and how did surrogacy even become part of your story?
Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of all started, I have to say, with the passing of my husband, Thomas, in May 2019.
Yeah.
He unexpectedly passed away. And, I did a lot of work with therapy and everything to really work on my grief. I wasn't ready to become a mom, but him and I had been talking about starting a family actually just months after we had talked about that fall. We were going to start trying for a family. So his passing, kind of just, shattered all those dreams. And so but it was always in the back of my mind. I've always wanted to be a mom. Like I've always been when growing up, they'd be like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'd say a mom. Like I never gave a career. I was like, I want to be a mom. And so
that's the dream. That's the dream.
It's the dream. And so, It kind of happened that, that was May 2019. In the fall of 2020, I'm a person who likes to get all the facts and all the information, even if I'm not
You
quite
are
ready
a
to start a journey.
research girl. You are a research detail oriented girl. Yes.
I sure am. So I was like, even though I'm not quite ready to start the journey of being a mom by myself, I was like, I want to get all my information, all my ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And so I went and saw a reproductive endocrinologist to discuss kind of the paths we could look at.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were originally talking about IUI and me carrying myself.
Sure.
However, it came up that I was on some medications that really needed to be run through a maternal fetal medicine doctor to see if I
Mm-hmm.
could stay on those safely while pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up meeting with a wonderful maternal fetal medicine doctor who was very kind and very straightforward and told me that the medications I needed to be on, she said, I can't tell you to go off of those medications, but I can't tell you it would be safe to carry a pregnancy on those medications.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, that's good to know. And then
Mm-hmm.
following that, I kind of had a crazy health issue go on for a couple years that went undiagnosed, and it's still not fully diagnosed, but I'm doing much better. We keep it under control. It's gastrointestinal issues.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of that, when I met again with my reproductive endocrinologist a few years later, I, told him what the maternal fetal medicine doctor said, as well as the issues I had been facing. And we really
Sure.
decided it just was not a safe route for me or a baby to carry a pregnancy.
Yeah. I
And
feel like, and I don't mean to pause you, but just to like go back a little bit, I feel like there's just so many things happening all simultaneously. And like for those who don't
yes,
know, like you and Thomas were not married for that long. So there's just kind of that
no.
heartbreaking aspect all on its own. You experience just the most earth-shattering moment. Then it's 2020 where, I feel like in the midst of grief, it's also kind of that like life keeps going. We need to move forward, not get over, but like you're looking to move forward.
Yeah.
And what does that look like for you? So
Mhm.
you have all of that happening. Hi, by the way, there's like, this whole pandemic thing happening simultaneously. And then you have all of these health issues simultaneously, which shout out to the MFM for being straightforward with you and not dancing around like of course it's heartbreaking to hear, but also like let's get the facts.
Right. I know, I do appreciate her just being straightforward and being like, like if I even took you off of these medicines, all of these things would be exacerbated by a pregnancy.
Right.
So, like, you would actually be so sick and it would be so dangerous for you and baby. And I just
Yeah.
appreciated her honesty. And I mean, she said it in the nicest way, but I do appreciate, like you said, she was straightforward. Like,
Yes.
let's just put
No.
it out there.
We
Like,
love that. But again, like it's still so hard because I feel like how did you navigate those kind of up and down moments of the obvious grief of losing Thomas, then the health issues that you're, facing, along with this, like, okay, how I thought I was going to build my family is now completely just totally shifted.
yes. So, I mean, to be honest, like, okay, I don't always tell people this, but the day Thomas died,
Mhm.
I actually said that afternoon as I sat on my parents' couch, just totally numb. I mean, you don't expect
Of
you
course.
receive a call that your 30-year-old husband has been taken to the hospital, that he passed out. You never think you're going to get there, and they're going to tell you the worst news of your life.
Yeah.
And 4 words are going to change your life forever. He didn't
Mm.
make it.
Yeah.
And that just shattered me in every way it could. But that afternoon, I sat on my parents' couch and it hit me, and I said, I'm never going to be a mom, because I realized the person
Mm.
I planned on building my family with was gone.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of time to realize that I could still be a mom. It wasn't going to be to his biological children or to his children, but it took a lot of time to realize that was still a possible path. And it
Yeah.
took really a lot of working through my grief of losing him for a long time before I could really even open up the idea of this different path,
Mm.
because I just pictured it. Him and I had talked about a family. Like, we had
Oh
always
gosh,
wanted
yeah.
kids. Like, this was a core part of our relationship, was that we wanted to become parents. And
Mm-hmm.
so it definitely took, when I say it all together, it sounds like this all happened overnight, but it took a lot of work and really thinking about how I want to keep living my life. Like you said, it's moving forward. It's never moving on. Thomas is with me
Mm-hmm.
every day. My grief is with
Yeah.
me. I will never be over my grief. You learn to carry it with you. And
Mm-hmm.
part of what I've learned is that I want to live life to the fullest, like Thomas did. Thomas
Oh,
loved
such
everyone and he
joy,
loved life.
joy. Oh my gosh, he was just the embodiment of joy.
He truly was. I always love talking to people who got to know him because they just say, he was a
He
one of a
lit
kind
up
man. I
every room. And I feel, I mean, that almost feels so cliche to say, but like it's true. He lit up every
It's
room. And
so
I mean, I
true.
really do just, I've always admired how you have never shied away from his joy and you have always celebrated his joy and his light and his life always.
Yes. And, I am just like, so after processing, and, it was really hard because the first few months you're just numb. I mean, it's total shock. You have no idea
Yeah.
what to do. Where do you turn? Like, is this reality? You wake up every morning hoping you've had the worst nightmare of your life. Like, you just
Mm-hmm.
wake up and you just cry because you're like, how is this possible? I was hoping
Yeah.
that was just like the worst nightmare. I hope I never have it again.
Sure.
But you learn to lean on the support of your friends, your family. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
my faith in God strengthened a lot during this time, and
Mm.
that helped me a lot. And I just decided to keep living life.
Yeah.
And I knew that part of that was my dream to be a mom. And, everyone has their own route with grief. And,
Mm-hmm.
some people, people always want to give you advice when you're grieving, which is,
Oh yes. Oh
you know,
yes.
an interesting one. Everyone means incredibly well, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
So nobody was giving me the advice, go do it by yourself, go be a single mom, because everyone's like, oh, you'll meet someone else. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. But I reached this point where I was like, okay, I feel like I'm in a healthy spot with my grief. And I really want to
Mm-hmm.
keep my life moving forward. And I want to keep this dream moving forward. And I'm not going to base this dream on meeting someone else. Like, I am going to move
Mm.
forward with what I know I want in my life. And I had
Mm-hmm.
prayed and prayed about it. And I had spoken about, like I said, I had spoken to a reproductive endocrinologist and
Right.
MFM.
You did your research. You did all that
I did
research.
my research. It
Yeah.
wasn't just like one day I woke up and was like, this is it. I'm going to do this, And,
Yeah.
even my therapist said something to me when I said, because she can't tell me if it's a good or a bad idea, things that I want to do, but, they give feedback.
Sure.
And she was like, I feel really confident in your decision because this is something you've always longed for. You've made this very clear. This is not, you woke up one morning and said, I'm going to go get pregnant and
Mm-hmm.
it's just going to be that. Like, you have researched this, you've prayed about it, it's been on your mind for years. And
Yeah.
and so it's a good move. And I guess up next was really deciding, and I guess that would have been 2023. I met with my reproductive endocrinologist again, and I said, well, next step is egg retrieval because there's nothing I can really do before that. And
Right.
so I said, let's
Right.
kind of start that. And then I, informed my family I was going to do this. And
Yeah.
they
How
were
was
excited.
that? Because, yeah, I feel like it went from exactly like you said, you're sitting on your parents' bed, just having these waves of earth shattering, thinking about your future. I'm never going to be a mom, to like, hey, mom and dad, guess what?
I mean, I think there was a little bit of stunned silence, but
Oh, sure.
it was definitely support after that. But it was just kind of
Yeah.
more, I approached it as like, this is what I'm going to do. Not like what does everyone think about this? Because I've
Sure.
reached a point through therapy where I'm like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do with my life.
Yeah.
And then like, it was just, everyone was excited for me. I think there was hesitation about, we didn't know how long it would take to find a GC and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
when you tell some people, they're like, oh, what does that mean? When will you have a baby? And I'm like, I truly have no idea. Like, this is
Right.
just the beginning. Like, it could be years, it could be next year. And in my situation, it was the following
It
year,
was
but that
next
was
year.
definitely faster than expected. So I
Yes.
had told everyone this might be a few years, but I got so much support from my family. They were just
Mm,
wonderful. My sister-in-law actually took me to my egg retrieval and everything. And
yeah.
so that was great. It was great to have just the family support. And I went back and rested at my brother and sister-in-law's house after the egg retrieval. And my niece and nephew were there, and they were just so cute.
Oh,
My nephew was like, "Are you okay?" Because there was the bandage from the IV on my arm. And I
oh,
was
sure.
like, "I'm okay. Don't
Yes.
worry."
Sweet angels. Yes. Always looking, always loving on Aunt Bug.
That's right. So yeah, everyone was super supportive, and it was wonderful. And I did all the shots by myself, including the trigger shot.
Look
So
at
that was
you.
people were kind of like, "Oh, you're doing all this by yourself," and I was like, "Yeah, it's really not that bad." Like, when you want something so badly, like I tell people,
Yeah.
I was like, these are not just like, "Oh, I'm sick, I need this from the doctor." I was like, "I want this so badly." I was like, "These don't even really hurt," and like I was like, it's just part of my journey. And so
Yeah.
it was really great. And I feel like I had warned all close friends and family I'm doing these in case I have any weird hormonal outbursts or
Sure.
anything. And like everyone was like asking, "How are you feeling?" and everything. And it honestly went way better than I expected. I
Mm,
really didn't have a lot of reactions to the shots. And
love that.
then I was like, thank God, like it was great. And then the big thing was just trying to keep myself distracted to like lead up date of like egg retrieval because
Sure.
they can't give you an exact day. And so you're just like, when is it going to be? And that's what my mom was going to take me. And then they ended up being out of town because the date ended up getting pushed slightly. So, but
Right.
thankfully my sister-in-law stepped in. And so that's what's so great to have such a big family and everyone who supports you on this journey because I
Yeah.
can't imagine without them. And yeah, we had a successful egg retrieval, which was also a huge relief. You just never
Mm-hmm.
know what's
No,
going to
for
happen. And so
sure.
I felt very, very blessed that that was such a success. And then
And
I was,
for such a planner, I feel like the egg retrieval process is also so exactly like you said, you don't know when the date's going to happen. You don't know what the result's going to
yes,
be. Like, I mean, it truly is like a test of faith.
it is. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Not knowing the date was like truly like just driving me a little bonkers. And they were like, "Well, it
Oh,
might
for
be
sure.
this date." And they were like, "Actually, I think it's going to be next week." And I was like, "What is it going
Just
to be?"
tell me a day.
Just tell me.
I love it. At this point, just lie to me. No, don't do that.
Right. And I like wake up and I'm looking at the board, like to see my number, how many eggs they got. And I'm like asking my sister in law, I'm like, "What does that mean? That's how many eggs they got?" And she's like, "They're still counting." And I was like, and
Oh,
I'm
we
like,
love the still counting. Yay.
I was like, "Yay, that's great." So that was honestly a huge relief to get that
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
That's like a big part of the process. And then I felt like I could really start the journey with surrogate solutions. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, for sure. For sure. And I love that. And again, it made me feel, I mean, it just makes, I feel like it's just so special on a personal level because I love that I got to kind of have this like little just behind the scenes of like, I got a call one day like, "Hey, would love to take you to lunch. Want to chat about something." I'm like, okay, okay, like try to play it cool. And I mean, truly, like the fact that we went from, this like we're having breakfast to just all of a sudden like here we are again, just so exciting. But yes, you had a successful egg retrieval and then you started your matching process with egg donor and surrogate solutions. And I mean, again, you're right in telling your family and friends like, hey, it could be next year, it could be 2 years from now, just all of those things because the matching factors matter and just all of that. How was that for you to all of a sudden I mean, it feels like it was just you had that successful egg retrieval and then it was go time from there.
it was crazy fast. Honestly, I just kept
Yeah.
putting it in God's hands. Every night I would pray for his plan, his will, and his timing. And I wouldn't pray for any specific timing. I said, like, I know your timing's perfect. I know that your plan is perfect. So if it takes
Mm,
12 months, 18 months to match, like, I know that this is meant to be, this baby is meant to be in whatever
Yeah.
timing that you have, God. And so I just put it in his hands. But then it was crazy. I worked with Meg, who was wonderful, to get my profile
Yes.
up and running, which I'm a writer, so it was a joy to write my profile. I feel like I was so detailed. Meg
Yes.
was like, you should write these long answers. But I loved sharing my story, and my story is
Mm-hmm.
it's such a big part of why I was doing this, not just the health journey, but sharing about my loss. And this is how, all of this came about,
Yeah.
and just that, my late husband is such a big part of my life. Like,
Yeah.
he's not here physically, but Thomas is with me, and I feel him cheering me on in everything I do. And I always say he was my biggest cheerleader here, and I know he's my biggest cheerleader in heaven. So I felt him with
Mm.
me and worked with Meg. Of course, had to put a photo of me with the dog since those are my other children.
Naturally. Naturally. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Naturally. And then, yeah, we got it up and live. And then I guess it was almost like a month to the day from when my profile went live when Meg said, like, there's a match, or, there's someone interested in your profile. And I called her immediately. I thought it was a mistake she sent it to me, because I was like, I clicked it, and I was like, this young woman is amazing. I literally called Meg and I said, is this for real? Did you send this to the right person? Because
Oh my
I couldn't believe
gosh.
it was 1 month, and I just loved her profile, like, loved it. So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, this feels too good to be true. Like, is this really for
Oh.
me?
I love that. But again, like, I mean, yes, it went fast. All things considered,
Yes.
it went fast. But it's also like, I mean, it's worth the wait, because you do find
Yes.
profiles like that where you're like, no, 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 this really is the perfect match.
This is like, I just felt like an immediate connection with Ashley. Like, I
Mm,
read her story and I was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I would love to meet with her virtually. And I was just over the moon, and I was trying to, like, tailor my excitement in case,
sure,
you're always trying to be like, just in case,
sure.
but I was just like, my heart was like beating so quickly.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, spoiler alert, you and Ashley were like the perfect match, and you guys did end up like saying yes to each other. How was that? I mean, just how was all of that as you were like, okay, this is a reality, and now you have this amazing person in your life, and this dream is actually becoming real.
I mean, it was amazing. Like, meeting her, like, Ashley's personalities and mine go really well, especially for a journey like this,
Mm-hmm.
because I am a high anxiety, high trying to plan everything. And she is very good at, like, keeping me calm and bringing me down to, like, things are fine. Like,
Mm.
it's okay. Like, but in a very supportive way.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I mean, she is so wonderful, and just kind of the reality of it, we started to jump through all the steps to get
Sure.
toward transfer day, and it was just hitting me more and more. I was like, I'll probably have a baby next year. Like, this is the end of 2023. And I was like, I'll probably have a baby in 2024. This is so exciting. But again, some things just don't feel real till, like, more happens. And
Yeah.
but I was just so excited. And my family was really excited and hopeful when I told them that Ashley and I had matched, and they were just,
Mm-hmm.
lots of prayers and support.
I mean, it's so vital to have that support system. I feel like that's just the consistent thing throughout just your life and your journey and every up and
Absolutely.
down. Like, just having that support system is so vital, especially in something, like this.
Yes.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. I love it. Were were there any moments that just, I mean, I know it was, just, oh my gosh, I might have a baby next year and all of that. And, and still, like you said, you're kind of like, you're tempering your excitement. You're guarding your heart for, just all of the inevitables that can possibly happen. Were there ever any points in time where you just had maybe just some key moments where you were just reaffirmed, like, this is right? this is exactly how this was all supposed to happen.
I mean, I feel like the way things kept lining up between
Mm-hmm.
Ashley and me and every appointment, everything,
Yeah.
going through psychological clearance, like, I mean, she was like, y'all are definitely on the same page. Like, it was just
Mm.
wonderful. There was just a lot of things that I felt like just kept lining up in a way that
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh, this really feels meant to be. Like, this is just, we're on the
Mm.
same page. And it felt like every, thing we checked off our list, I was like, oh my gosh, that went so well. That went so well. Like,
Yes.
oh, psychological clearance, yay. Legal clearance, oh my gosh, yay. Like that went so smoothly. Like I was expecting a lot more like potentially back and forth. I didn't know how
Sure.
long because you never know. And I was like, oh, I feel like we're totally like good to go. I think
I love it.
everything was just reaffirming, and she was wonderful, and we were getting to know each other through the process, and that was really
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Yeah.
To kind of like the first time we met in person was really, really exciting. I was so nervous because I was like, what if she thinks I'm just, totally different in person than I am virtually? What if she doesn't like me when she meets me in person? What if she says, never mind, I'm not doing this? And I was like,
It's like the craziest first date ever.
yes, it really is. You're like, I hope she likes me. Let me try to make my hair look nice. Let me.
I love
I'm like,
it. When did you guys meet? You guys met the first time at medical clearance? Like met in person the first
at
time?
medical clearance, yes.
At
So
medical
we
clearance,
met
yeah.
up at Common Bond and got some food to eat,
Yum,
and
shout out.
it was just a delight to get to meet her in person. And it was, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, and again, how was growing that relationship from the nervousness of, like first date jitters, if you will, to, now I'm seeing, which spoiler alert, Ashley got pregnant and I'm seeing Ashley at your baby shower. I mean, how did that like relationship grow?
I think it just grew in a very like natural way. Like
Yeah.
we would text each other, just kind of like friends do, check in and
Mm-hmm.
see how her week's going, how's her toddler, like how's
Yeah.
life, how's she feeling about everything. And just kind of those casual, how's your week kind of starts out like that.
Sure.
So then we were pretty comfortable texting by the time she got pregnant. Like we were
Yeah.
able to talk more about that as well. So I think it just was like a natural kind of like, oh, hey, how are you? What's going on this week? And
Yeah.
it just grew into a friendship.
I love that. I mean, I think it's so important that, you and Ashley both made the conscious effort to pour into each other even before there was a positive pregnancy test. And so then when there was, it was still that natural. We're not just talking about the pregnancy. It really is, hey, how's your week? How's your kiddo? What's going on? Like,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. And that I feel like that's just so important for any journey, with surrogacy because it is, you're investing in each other.
definitely. I mean, I love the friendship we've created. We're actually going to go
Mm.
see her in a few weeks, visit her in
I love it.
Austin.
Yes, yes.
So,
Hi, Aunt Ashley.
we still text every couple weeks.
Yes. No, I love that. I think that's beautiful. And I love that is part of your story.
She was just really good about communicating, which was really wonderful. If there
Mm-hmm.
was any kind of concern or she felt a little off or she had a cold, she just like let me know, which was really, really considerate. And I think that was
Yeah.
like a delightful surprise in a way because I didn't know she just communicates so clearly like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm a little sick right now, but it's nothing big. She just was very open. She was great even about sharing. She was like, just in case you want to know about pregnancy cravings, like this is what I'm craving right now. And so I
Oh,
loved that. So I think I was like delightfully surprised with how much she shared and just the
yeah.
direct insight into the pregnancy.
Well, as a self-professed, anxious person, I love that she kind of, like you said, she alleviated and, all of the, kind of possibilities, right? And you were along for, just all, hey, I've got a cold, just FYI, but everything's all good, doing this, that, and the other. But then also, like you said, those fun moments of like, yep, babies wanting, whatever the craving was that day. And, just that communication is so important for a relationship like this, for sure.
And I think
Oh,
one of the sweetest things she did that was really great is she bought us these bracelets, and she every time he would move, she would tap it and it would buzz on my wrist, so I knew every time he was moving. And she gifted that to
oh,
me, and it was so special because it felt like I got to feel him moving in a way.
yes. I love that. Those little things are just, they make the journey. They really do. And I love that you got to be part of it in just in that extra, way. And I think that's so precious. I love that. Okay, tell me about delivery day. Like the best day ever.
Delivery day was very exciting. So we had a planned delivery,
Mhm.
and so we had a scheduled date. He was breech, so we thought we might try to do the maneuver to turn him,
Mhm.
but we got in there that morning, and Ashley was like, how do you feel about a C-section? It could just be a really long day and he may not turn. They were like, he's pretty big already, so the odds are like not in our favor.
Sure.
And I was like, it's totally up to you, like whatever you want to do. So we ended up deciding to do a C-section, and it was so wonderful because he was born at 10:37 in the morning. And so he came so much sooner
Mm.
than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And it was just magical. I ended up being able to be in the OR with Ashley, as well as her aunt was in there, and
Oh.
it was so, I don't know, you're in there, I'm like shaking because I'm nervous and
Of
just
course.
hoping that everything goes well, that Ashley and Tommy are safe, and I'm all
Mm.
suited up, masked up, and
Yes.
she's, the doctor is like, okay, we're almost there. She's cutting through. And then she's like, okay, we have him. And, sometimes you want, I'm known for watching medical shows and stuff. So, they
I love
always
it.
cry right away. But with a C section, they actually need to like get him out and like, stimulate him a little bit a lot of times.
Sure,
And
sure.
so I'm like, he's not crying. And she's like, the doctor's like, he's fine. I have to stimulate him a little bit and suction a little bit, And so it was so wonderful. And I just immediately tears and seeing him. And then
Mm.
Ashley cried seeing me get to hold him. And
Yeah.
it was so special. Oh, I can't believe it. It just doesn't feel like
It's
you're holding your
surreal.
baby.
Yeah, it's surreal. It goes from like that morning of like showing up to a hospital to all of a sudden you're sitting there like holding this little person that's yours.
I know, and he was just, oh, so cute, and his little cries, and you're just like, oh my god, I just couldn't stop staring at him while they're cleaning him up. I'm just like over
Oh.
there, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like you're here, and oh, it was so special. And then once they wrapped him up, I took him over so Ashley could see him, and it
Mm.
was just such a special moment for all of us to be in that room, and
Yeah.
just
Oh my gosh.
amazing.
And so round and pink and perfect. He was just, he is
Yes.
just so precious. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. And now we're here. Tommy is 6 months old. I cannot believe it. Just
I don't know where the
absolutely.
time has gone.
It flies. Oh my gosh. It just flies. And he's so precious. He's so adorable. Oh my gosh. And like you
Mhm.
said, you're gonna go and see Ashley in a couple of weeks. I feel like just your journey is now like just being on kind of this side of things. What, maybe advice would you give to someone, starting this process, or maybe particularly as like a single parent, what advice would you maybe want to give to another parent out there?
I mean, I would say keep trusting in God's plan and his timing.
Mm,
It really is perfect. I would also say, just, oh, it's so worth it. Like, it's worth the wait. It's
yeah.
worth it. Like, I know it can be easy to get discouraged, especially, finding out you can't carry a pregnancy can be
Sure.
really disheartening. It's different than what you've ever envisioned, and kind of adapting to that. But it's wonderful to be a parent,
Mm.
and just to keep going to try to, I mean, my other advice would be to really try to have a great connection with your surrogate, because
Yeah.
that makes the journey just that much better, to have that open
Mm.
conversation between you all, and to have a relationship that goes past birth is just, it's wonderful. I mean, we call her Aunt Ashley. Like, this is,
Yeah.
he will always know and love her. And yeah, that would be my advice, is to just give it your all, and even when it is discouraging, to just keep going.
I love that. I love that. I mean, how has this affected how you navigate your grief? Like you said, your grief, you said, is with you daily. How
Yes.
does this now, how is this part of that story?
Yeah, so I think part of it, like, it's just, I feel like Thomas gives us signs at times that, he's with
Mm,
Tommy and me, and I always tell Tommy he's our guardian angel, is what I refer to him as. And
I
so as
love
Tommy
that.
grows up, we're gonna like always continue. I always celebrate Thomas's birthday, and so Tommy
Mhm.
will know him as his guardian angel. And it's it's helped, I have Tommy, and I still feel the grief. Sometimes, it can be really hard,
Yeah.
because you're like, I wish Thomas was here. I wish Thomas
Yeah.
was getting to be a dad. But at
Mhm.
the same time, I know he's in heaven, he's watching over us, and it's been a beautiful journey. You're always going to feel these mixed emotions, because with
Yeah.
milestones, any kind of, it's honestly usually the smallest moments that you're like, "Oh, I wish you were here." But then I always remind myself he's
Yeah.
watching it, and he's,
Yeah.
looking over us. And so, but it's definitely been, I still get the emotions and the mixed feelings, but Tommy
Of
brings me
course.
so much joy, a joy that
Mm.
I just, I don't think you can have that joy until you're a parent. Like, there's so much joy in life, but this is a different kind of joy. When he looks at
Mhm.
me, when he smiles at me, and just like every day you're like, "Ah, I get to go wake up that little boy and see him smile."
Oh,
And every night it's like
yeah.
you get in bed, and they're like, "Oh, even after a long day," it's so true. They're like, "Yeah, you're gonna sit on your phone and scroll through pictures of them still." Because you're like, "Oh, now I miss him. Now that he's asleep, I miss him even more."
Yes.
And I'm like, "How is it even possible? You've been with him, like, especially in the weekend, you're like, I'm with him all day." And then you're like, "I
Yeah.
miss him." And I'm like, "I just spent all day. I don't," but it's just like a different kind of love and joy. And
Mm.
it's like a beautiful journey that I love, that Tommy is going to grow up with so much support, and knowing that he has a village, and he has Thomas's dad and Thomas's brother and sister-in-law and their kids. Like,
Yeah.
they're part of our family. Thomas's dad came down for Tommy's baptism and stuff. So it's like
Mm.
he's going to get to know, the way I want him to know Thomas is that, no, he's not his father, but he was the man who loved his mom enough and gave him enough love, or gave her enough love, that she was able to do this journey of being a single mom. Like, Thomas loved me in a way that carries me through and gives me the
Mm.
strength to be a single mom. So it's very important for Tommy to learn that.
Yeah. Oh, Allie, that's beautiful. And Tommy is just, he's such a special boy to have just all of these people in his life, from Aunt Ashley to, just all of the extended family and the village of friends that you've created. I mean, what a lucky little boy. It's amazing. And that's beautiful. And I think, I mean, to look at it in that way of how Thomas continues to be a strength to you as you
Yeah.
go on this next journey of your life. I mean, I think it's beautiful, especially, just here as a mama. It's amazing. I love that.
Thank you. No, it's very, very special.
Yes, it is. It's so special. Okay, well, my last question to you, and it's a fun one. As you know, I have a very codependent relationship with coffee, and coffee and I are very good friends, and I don't function without her. So, with that said, I always love to ask the question, what filled your cup today? Literally or figuratively, what's been the thing that has filled your cup today?
Literally a cold brew with sugar-free vanilla syrup.
Well done.
Um,
Well done. Yes.
figuratively, Tommy trying some food this morning.
Way to go, Tommy.
We finally took a bite of some pureed carrots, so that was exciting.
How
Made
do
a
we
huge
feel?
mess, but it was so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. What was his reaction? How does he feel about carrots?
It was honestly his first food to have. He hasn't been into the other things I've tried. He like locks his lips and is like,
Mm,
no, but
mhm.
he seemed okay with it. Kind of unsure what we were doing, but didn't dislike. He didn't spit it out. He took like 3 bites, so
Hey, there we go. Okay, so jury may be still out on carrots, but we'll keep going. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
supporting
But
him.
those special moments are so sweet, and I'm sure the mess was amazing.
Oh yes, I think he liked it the most because of the color. Because everything else I've given him is kind of just like, like egg, it's not that exciting. But he saw the orange and was like locked in immediately. So
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. And I love that you got to have that sweet moment today. That's amazing.
yeah.
Allie, seriously, thank you so much for just sharing your beautiful story. And I am just so excited that we get to continue to celebrate this and watch all of Tommy's milestones. And, again, just so grateful for all of this.
Oh, thank you, Whitney. Thank you so much.
Mm. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Me, You, and Who. We appreciate your time and hope you enjoyed our discussion today. As we wrap, we would like to remind you of some of the ways that you can stay connected with us and be part of the Me, You, and Who podcast community. Firstly, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode and can stay up to date with our latest content. But that's not all. We also have an exciting YouTube channel where we share some bonus content, behind the scenes glimpses, and video versions of our episodes. Head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button there as well. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when the new episodes go live. And for more exclusive updates, engaging discussions, and a chance to connect with fellow listeners. Be sure to follow us on our social media accounts. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Create a Happy Family. If you're interested in finding out more about creating a happy family, please visit us at www.createahappyfamily.com. Thank you again for being part of the Me, You, and Who community. Your support means the world to us. I can't wait for you to join us next time as we continue to share stories and journeys of creating happy families.